Farmers and Merchants Bank has been helping people with their financial needs for over 100 years. And FMB is right here in Lakeland, Georgia to serve you. Whether you need personal banking with checking and savings accounts, money market and IRAs, or business banking with checking, cash management, and loans, FMB is also your lending solution for both personal and business. Whatever your banking needs, Farmers and Merchants Bank remains committed to be the best of the best. North Carter Street in Lakeland. Go Dogs! Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Huddle House in Lakeland, Georgia is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With a clean and friendly atmosphere, you'll always get the service you're looking for. They have a variety of menu items for you to choose from, whether it's an omelet or a hamburger. And you can even order takeout, whether you sit at the bar or at a table. The staff at Huddle House is always looking out for you. Huddle House in Lakeland, open 24/7, 251 West Main Street. That's 251 West Main Street. Stop on by and eat something.
We will tell you that the Lady Dogs are up here at the Huddle House working tables, and Mr. Jimmy Brown was gracious enough to let us have this corner table here. And we're going to talk to Coach Kurt Williams later on about some Lanier County Bulldog football. But in the meantime, we're going to tell you a little bit about Lady Dogs softball. The Lady Dogs kicked off their season last Tuesday afternoon. They're at V.L. Moore Field, where they took on the Telfair County Trojans. They defeated the Trojans 7-6 on a walk-off hit, dramatic fashion from Miss Jenna Shaw. Jenna came up with the runners on second and third, worked a full count, hit a line drive base hit out into the slightly past second base in the center field, scored both runs, and the Lady Dogs took a 7-6 win over Telfair County. Telfair was the defending region champions coming into this season. They went 16-0 last year. Lady Dogs made sure they didn't go undefeated this season. Started them off with a loss first thing in the region, and I think Telfair's went on to lose to Wilcox County Thursday afternoon. Our Lady Dogs traveled over to Atkinson County Thursday afternoon to take on the Atkinson County Lady Rebels, or Rebelettes. I'm not sure which one they go by, but we were leading Atkinson County 4-0 in the top of the first when the bad weather took over the game, and the game was postponed, and I have not heard a make-up date on that yet, but we will have that game will resume or either start over from the beginning later on. But Lady Dogs started off their 1-0 on the year. Coach Rob Brunell and his team looking forward to a good season. Got several returning players, lost a few players from last year, but bring back some of the, several good players. Aniston Gano, of course, a key pitcher last year. Her and Ramsey James in the pitching circle, carrying us to Columbus. Also had Cassidy Newsom returning from behind the plate. Of course, Ramsey plays some first and third. Gano plays some third and pitches. You got Elle Watson, who played first base last year. Elle has hopefully recovered from that knee injury she suffered back in her freshman year, and Elle is out roaming center field where Gracie Brunell graduated from last year. Elle made some good catches out there last week in that game win over Telfair. Trying to think who had Jenna Shaw, who had that game-winning walk-off hit, returns in right field. Trying to think if I'm missing anybody who's returning. We got some new players over at first base, or over at second base. We got young Reagan Newsom, who is a sophomore, stepping in and starting there early in the season. Reagan taking the place of Ansley Brogdon, who played there for 4 years. Down at shortstop, got a freshman there too. Also, the sister of Aniston Gano is going to be Steffi Gano. Steffi played the first game at short. Down at third, at the first game, was Sammy Sisko. Sammy moves over from Cook County. She played for Cook County last year. Pitched for Cook County up in Columbus. We watched her, Jeremy and I did, went down and watched a game where when we were not playing, Cook was down and playing, and she pitched an excellent ball game. Cannot remember who she pitched against, but she won that game 1-0. I think out in left field got Braylon Burkhalter, another freshman. So I believe we're starting 2 freshmen and a sophomore. I'm trying to think, is there any others that in the starting lineup? I believe that covers everybody. But Lady Dogs scored 7 runs last week and knocked off those Telfair County Trojans. This week, the Lady Dogs tomorrow afternoon out at VL Moore Field. I believe game time is at 5:30. They'll take on the Charlton County Maidens. Charlton County always a perennial power in Class A softball, certainly in Region 2A. Then this weekend, Lady Dogs will travel up to Cordele, and in Cordele they'll take on Tift County. They'll play Tift County, I believe, at 5:30, and then at 7 or 7:30 they'll play Crawford County. I think Tift County coming from 7A, that'll pose a good challenge for the Lady Dogs. And then Crawford County, I believe, is either a single A or double A school. Don't know much about Crawford County, but Tift County, of course, in Region 1 7A, and that's a very, very tough opponent for the Lady Dogs, moving up in class, way up from the smallest class that we're in all the way to the largest class. We're waiting momentarily for Coach Kurt Williams. Coach Kurt Williams, of course, the head coach of the Lanier County Bulldogs football program. Some of his players is up here joining the Lady Dogs this afternoon. I'm not sure, Jimmy, are we live inside the building or just live on the internet feed? Okay. Didn't know if these folks could hear what I was saying in here. I'm not real good with cameras. I have not looked at a camera to do this through the season as we've been doing games. You've been watching the plays, and you've been hearing my voice, but now you see my ugly face on the screen, and I'm not used to let you see me look down. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm looking down. I'm looking at the young Lanier County Middle School softball team. Of course, they started their season last week with 2 wins over Tift County. They defeated Tift County's 18-4-3, and then followed that up with a 9-4 win over their younger team later in the afternoon. This afternoon, our middle school team is over in Brooks County. They're taking on Brooks County Lady Trojans, and they're winning that contest right now in the bottom of the second. And this score is correct, 18-0. Lady Dogs scored 15 runs in the top half of the first. They had 13 but 1 out, and they ended up scoring 15 in the top of the first, scored 3 in the top of the second, and they lead 18-0. I think 20 runs is the run rule in middle school. I think maybe a GHSA rule, 20 runs after 2. So doubt we won't get that, but 15 after 3 is certainly achievable. See Coach Kurt Williams coming in, and Jeremy, if you want to, we'll take a quick commercial break. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, the Huddle House, for allowing us to be here tonight. And we'll cover our sponsors and give Kurt Williams a chance to get his headset on, and then we'll talk some Bulldog football.
Farmers and Merchants Bank has been helping people with their financial needs for over 100 years. And FMB is right here in Lakeland, Georgia to serve you. Whether you need personal banking with checking and savings accounts, money market and IRAs, or business banking with checking, cash management, and loans, FMB is also your lending solution for both personal and business. Whatever your banking needs, Farmers and Merchants Bank remains committed to be the best of the best. North Carter Street in Lakeland. Go Dogs! Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Huddle House in Lakeland, Georgia is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With a clean and friendly atmosphere, you'll always get the service you're looking for. They have a variety of menu items for you to choose from, whether it's an omelet or a hamburger. And you can even order takeout, whether you sit at the bar or at a table. The staff at Huddle House is always looking out for you. Huddle House in Lakeland, open 24/7, 251 West Main Street. That's 251 West Main Street. Stop on by and eat something.
So as the final buzzer sounds, we shoot a 3, and it bangs in! It goes in! Oh, we get a steal.
EJ gonna drive, put a shot up and in,
and it does.
Bulldogs lead 100-48.
Gonna try a long 3. It's good.
Good.
3-point shot's good. 12-10, and Clinch County wants to talk it over.
Oh, there's a good drive. There's a good drive. Is it going to drop?
It's down.
It's down in the sphere.
Farmers and Merchants Bank has been helping people with their financial needs for over 100 years. And FMB is right here in Lakeland, Georgia to serve you. Whether you need personal banking with checking and savings accounts, money market and IRAs, or business banking with checking, cash management, and loans, FMB is also your lending solution for both personal and business. Whatever your banking needs, Farmers and Merchants Bank remains committed to be the best of the best. North Carter Street in Lakeland. Go Dogs! Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Huddle House in Lakeland, Georgia is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With a clean and friendly atmosphere, you'll always get the service you're looking for. They have a variety of menu items for you to choose from, whether it's an omelet or a hamburger. And you can even order takeout, whether you sit at the bar or at a table. The staff at Huddle House is always looking out for you. Huddle House in Lakeland, open 24/7, 251 West Main Street. That's 251 West Main Street. Stop on by and eat something.
All right, we're back here live from the Huddle House with the LC Coaches Show. Joining us tonight is going to be Coach Kurt Williams. Coach, how you doing?
I'm glad to be here. A little hot. Glad to be in some air conditioning. Have a tall glass of ice water right here at our very own Huddle House.
I hear you. I want to thank Jimmy Brown again for allowing us to do this Coaches Show here at the Huddle House. Of course, Jeremy's run his ad on your screen at home, I'm sure. Coach, we're looking forward to kicking off football Friday night here at Rockmore Field.
Absolutely. Got the Cook County Hornets coming in. It's really going to be a great test for us. Kind of scrimmage game we didn't trade film, so we really don't know exactly what they look like. So it's kind of just, I think they run a 3-4 on defense, spread offense. So it's kind of what we do. So we're just kind of practicing against each other right now and really focusing on ourselves and getting better this week and it's more like a camp week this week.
That's right. I know it seems like I've heard they've changed coaches over in Adel. Got a new head coach and maybe changed up a little bit from that so much running that they did last year that we saw.
Yeah, they got the head coach is Jamie Rogers. He's coming out of Baker County, Florida, and I believe they've won a few district titles, and I believe either won the state championship or played for it a couple years ago. So he's got a really good program, but they're really known for in Baker County is weightlifting.
Gotcha.
And so that's probably they've probably been getting after it in the weight room just like we have. So we're expecting a really good test Friday.
You can tell looking at our guys this summer, or actually coming into this summer, and then as the summer's progressed, you can really see the difference from this time last year to tonight. The size, the bulk that we put on, muscle mass, I guess would be the right terminology. Coach Detter can talk about that better than I can, but you fill us in about how we've been doing in the –
Well, it's funny you brought that up. Will Watson was in there working with a couple girls, getting a couple extra cuts in the cage, and he was joking with a couple of our boys, said Sharif looked like he'd ate mussels over the summer, and that Josiah, he was messing with Josiah about he lost his belly and he could finally see his toes for the first time in high school. So
that's right.
But we've had several guys probably gain 15 to 20 pounds, and Sharif being one of them. Sharif is probably up to 170, 175. He was probably 150 last year playing his first year of football.
Gotcha.
And now he's had a whole off season. Josiah Hill has actually lost weight and changed his body. He's probably dropped 10 pounds, but it was really good for him. I think he's gotten a lot faster, more mobile, and moving him at linebacker, I think he's set to have a big year. And, I mean, we just had a great offseason in the weight room, huge increases, especially in the squat. And we kind of made the decision last year when we struggled early in non-region. We was like, well, if we're struggling in non-region, we're going to struggle in the toughest region in single A.
That's right.
And so me and Coach Detter made this decision we're going to lift in the season like we're in January to March. And we're going to try to close the gap because a lot of teams in season, they go to in-season work kind of like we're going to do this year. And they don't lift as much and don't lift as heavy. And right. we said, no, we're going to get after it and try to close the gap for this year. And just really pleased with the guys in the weight room all the way up till now.
That's right. Well, I can tell you I don't know much about it, but I do know that there's a noticeable difference in the size of our guys and the way our athletes look now. Y'all let me kind of tag along a few times this summer. I went up with y'all to Athens, and of course we faced some teams up there, bigger schools, in 7-on-7, and then of course later in the summer we went up to Jeff Davis and competed up there. And I know that we look like, people ask me, they said, well, you've been around, you've seen what we've been doing and seen what we've looked at like in the summer. What you think about our football team this year? And my answer is we starting to look like a football team.
Yes, sir.
That's the best way I could describe it. And we're starting to look like a football team. When we go out on the field, we look like the other team. When we look across the sideline, we're kind of matching up now. We're not
poor little old Lanier.
That's right. We're not little bean poles, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, getting, and I don't know which way y'all want to go with the show, but getting back in the summer.
Yeah.
We went to Brooks County the first week, and Coach Freeman's like, what you want to do? I want to do everything that y'all do, Coach. Y'all are a small school just like we are. I want my kids to see what y'all do on a daily basis and show them how y'all compete in the weight room, practice, 7-on-7. And so we went over there. We went through agility circuit, did fine, went through 7-on-7, competed really well with Brooks, who's when they come down to single A, they're going to be playing for it next year. I guarantee that. Or they'll be a definite contender.
Let's hope they don't come down.
Well, it's not looking good.
We'll
right
talk
now.
about that later. Let's hope they don't come down.
Let's
let them keep playing Berrien and our family and friends over there. That's right.
Yes. But anyway, we competed really well with them, and they kind of got to see what a really good program does, and I think that kind of spring forwarded the rest of the summer. Went to Athens and played schools like Perry, Tri-Cities. I'm trying to think of the rest of them. But everybody we played was bigger schools, 4A, 5A, 6A. And the first three games all came down to the last play where we had a chance to win it.
That's right. That's what I was saying. We were in it to the last to the horn blowed, and that
just like the spring game.
That's right. Might be 7-on-7, but we was in it to the horn blowed,
and just like the spring game. And that's what I just got through telling our guys today. Yes, it's hot, but everybody's having to deal with the heat. That can't be an excuse. If you want to play on Saturday, if you want to go to Georgia, if you want to go to even Valdosta State, go play on turf field in September at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be hot. So we got to prepare for it. It's going to be hot Friday night, even with it being at 7:30. It's still going to be hot and humid, and we got to get ready. But we have a bad habit in practice of starting really well, and then as we get tired, we kind of fall off. And so we're really trying to focus on that and push these guys through. And I don't want that to be the theme this year, because I really think we're going to close the gap and we're going to be in some ball games that nobody thinks we're going to be in.
That's right.
And I just hope it ain't because we can't finish.
That's right.
And that was kind of the theme over the summer. And then we went to Berrien and started slow, and then competed against Berrien and Worth. Had a decent showing at the end. We started slow. Our linemen really dominated the lineman challenge. And then we had a team from Florida come up, competed. We were doing stuff all summer long. But then when Berrien came back down here after the dead week, we literally went out there, had a great warm-up, and set the tone and dominated.
That's right.
The first part of the 7-on-7 and competed really well. And had we kept score, I think we would have really dominated on the scoreboard too. And then went to Jeff Davis and had a good OTA, saw some bigger schools, saw some smaller schools. Was really pleased with how we competed all summer long, and now we're starting to learn how to compete in practice. We're starting to have good competition at certain spots, and it's like, hey, if you don't bring it today, you're going to be over here with me, boss.
That's right.
And just stuff you got to do to get better. It's starting to come along, but, hopefully it shows on Friday.
That's right. Well, you say you didn't keep score. There's some different rules as far as scoring in 7-on-7, and even the way y'all were doing those OTAs over in Jeff Davis. But I kind of tagged along, and I kind of figured out how they were scoring up in Athens. And if they scored it the way they were scoring up in Athens when we were over in Jeff Davis, by my tabulations, we defeated Jeff Davis. We probably would have tied Long County, and probably East Lawrence was a little bit better than everybody else out there. But East Lawrence or West Lawrence?
West Lawrence, 4A
West
school.
Lawrence, 4A school, bigger school. But we
They
competed with them, but I mean they was a little bit better than most everybody there.
Yeah, they were, and but it kind of gives you a sense of what it's going to be like against Irwin and Clinch.
Right.
The top of our class, or the top of our region, which is the top of our class, can compete with a lot of bigger schools.
That's right.
And so it was a really good OTA. Really appreciate Lance Helt, the head coach up there, letting us come. And they were just dealing with a kid who passed away in a car accident tragically the week before.
Oh, that's awful.
But they were like, it's still on, Coach. So, I mean, some great guys up there, and they do a great job. And it was a really well-run camp, and we got better.
That's right. Very, very good atmosphere, and they was a great host. I think they fed our kids at the end.
Yes, sir.
Many of you might know from over in Homerville, Roger Metz is the athletic director over there, and Roger took good care of us too, him and his football staff. So now we'd be glad to go back up there if they'd invite us. That was
good
deal.
Me and Lance actually went to Valdosta State together, and he was playing while I was a student assistant, and got to know him and remained friends over the years.
Right. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about our schedule, our upcoming schedule. Of course, we talked about the Cook game being a scrimmage. We're going to follow it when we open the season. We're going to go down to, I believe it's Lake Butler, Florida, and play
Butler.
Union County.
It's right outside of Lake City. Everybody thinks it's a really long ride, but it's really not. It's only, I think, 90-something miles. I mean, it's a lot closer than McRae and Folkestone.
That's right.
And
you hit I-75, probably be a quicker trip.
Yeah. I think it's 99 miles and that might be from my house, which is on the west end. But
right. So about a 2-hour trip.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour trip on
Hour
the bus.
45, 2-hour trip.
But anyway, historically good program. The little bit of tape we've seen is, they look – it's a really good program, okay? They're not as athletic as teams that we're going to see.
Right.
Probably athletically, I don't even know who to really compare them to. They're well coached.
Right.
So that kind of makes up for not having as many athletes as say a Turner or a Clinch and Irwin and all those guys. They're gonna be scrappy. So
right.
I mean, we're gonna have to play hard, but I really think we match up with them athletically.
Right. I know a lot of folks are thinking, well, what happened to Tift area and what happened to Frederica? And we had to drop those schools in order to get some power rankings if we wanted to.
Yeah, it's kind
think about that.
This is the last year for the power rankings, and my thought process was the private schools, it's a lose-lose situation. If you win, you win, but you don't get any points. If you lose, why did you play a private school to start with?
That's right.
And so just trying to help us with power rankings, this last year power rankings, our region is so good if we're fortunate enough to win our non-region games and win 1 or 2 region games, then all of a sudden you're in the playoffs.
That's right.
You don't even have to be the top 4 because our region is that good.
Well, coming out of our region, you could win 4 ball games
and get in
and still get in the top 24.
Well, there was a time I figured out one time we could have won 3 ball games. Had we won the last 3, now obviously that would have been Clinch and Telfair and Charlton.
That's right.
But we still mathematically would have made it.
That's right.
That's how good our region is and how many points we get from playing the tough schedule.
So that's the upside to the power rankings. Of course, there is certainly a downside to them. We have struggled with those things. Everybody tries to do the math, and you can't play. It's hard to play. Of course, we've had to, just to give you an example. We've had to. I know this is your second year here. Everybody wonders, why don't you play Berrien anymore? Why is Berrien? We just played them in a spring scrimmage. Well, with those power rankings, you play Berrien. Berrien's good enough to beat you, but then they get in a tough region with Thomasville and Brooks and Fitzgerald and those folks, and if they only win 3 ball games, they may make the playoffs, but they're not giving you enough power ranking points for you to make the playoffs. So going back, we'll talk about it, like I said, a little bit later about the power ranking situation and all that being gone. But but we'll put that off for a little bit. Let's talk about that can be a in-depth process, right? So let's talk about the next opponent. It's going to be Montgomery County. We played Montgomery last year, and Montgomery had one. I can't remember the kid's name.
But I want to say
we saw the back of his shirt a lot that night. I ain't being funny, but
Daquan Jackson.
Yeah, he was good, and he's gone. So
he was number 6.
Yeah, he was number 6. So.
And he scored every touchdown.
He did.
And he scored 38 points and had 5 touchdowns and a field goal, and he scored every one of them. And, I would argue that he's probably the fastest kid we saw last year.
That's right.
Including everybody we saw in our region who is, we saw some really good players last year.
I can't tend to agree with you, Coach. He was fast. I know even though that he scored, what you said, 38 points, that was one of those games where we still felt like, even all the way to the final whistle, we felt like, well, we're in this ball game for some.
Well, yeah, I remember that, obviously my first ever career game as a head coach.
That's right.
We're down, I want to say 35-6 at the half.
I think that's right.
The final was like 38-18 or something.
But you didn't feel like you was out of it.
Well, we came out,
still
we played.
compete.
One thing I was really proud about our kids last year was, and it didn't really show on the scoreboard, but the best game we played last year was Charlton County, which was the last game of the year at 0-9.
That's right.
Had a tall order. You got a D1 cat playing at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids fought to the very end last year. And, I think we're going to pay dividends for how we competed at practice and how we competed those last 4 games last year with a bunch of young guys out there who are now playing varsity and who are now physically more able to match up.
I think we had 17 freshmen last year, and we get a bulk of those back. A few of them didn't make it back, but bulk of those we got back, and they got all that experience last year, and we hope they can help us. But talking about the end of the year and how that we competed in that final ball game, now I'm not going to pick on one certain season or any certain coach, and I don't want anybody to think I'm going there. But I've been here. We've been doing this since 1998.
No.
And many seasons from 1998 to last year, we would be, as the season would wind down, we would go from 35, maybe 40 kids, and we start dwindling down, and we may have enough to go 11 on 11 at practice by the end of the year. And last year we kept there's a core group that just stayed right there. We
finished with 37 last year and started with 43, I believe.
Right. So drop off from about 6 kids.
All 6 kids were upperclassmen.
Right.
We didn't lose any. Now, obviously, we got some younger guys who, off season didn't make it or ineligible. We got a few guys that didn't. All of those 37 are not out there.
That's right.
But we've got a few more guys.
We got some new guys.
Yeah, we got some new guys who are playing
right.
and are doing a decent job and creating a lot of competition at practice.
That's right. I've heard a few good from kids come over from Valdosta that might be able to help us out.
Yeah.
And some kids that was here in our school system that just didn't play football that's come out now and going to help us out. One of those, and we'll talk about him a little bit, Amari McGriff. He's played before and not been there, but right now he's hanging in there with us, and he's looked pretty good out there.
Well, Amari started out before Amari transferred last year. Amari came and played football. And, I was like, Amari, are you sure you want to play football? Like, yeah, Coach, I want to play. Are you sure? Yeah, I had fun last year before I left. Yeah, I'm going to play. I'm like, all right, well, let's go to work. And we changed the position. We put him at wide receiver last year, and he kind of he just struggled at wide receiver. It wasn't natural to him.
That's right.
And I think he got a little bit frustrated, which then he left. Had he not left, I would love to see where he would be at now.
That's right.
Because I think he's going to have an opportunity. He still, I think, could have a big year for us on football, but he's going to have a big year in basketball. And, I think Amari's really matured.
Right.
And which he is a senior. But he's the past couple of weeks, we have moved him from wide receiver to our bandit outside linebacker, which is we don't put a lot on that guy to make checks and anything. We want you to get pressure on the quarterback. And I'm telling you, we having a hard time blocking him. Yeah, I believe it. I'm not sure. He said he had 4 sacks. I think it's more like 2 sacks and a couple of tackles for loss the other day at scrimmage, but he was only in there 20 and 25 plays.
Right.
He has had a real impact at on defense. I mean, and I'm hoping that shows up Friday. If he can affect the passer like he's affected us in practice, people are going to have to game plan around him.
That's right. Well, if we can get a guy like Kamari out there and some of these other kids in the school system see how, somebody like Amari come out and Amari's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Amari wasn't a football player, but he come out and he's going to contribute to this team. Some others will come out and help us in the coming years. I mean, you never know what might happen.
Well, I'm tell you about Amari today. I sat there and watched Amari in 4th block go through Coach Randolph's circuit, 25 minutes, and the air conditioning is out in the gym right now, so it is burning. I mean, it might be hotter in the gym than it is outside.
I imagine it is.
And he went through the circuit. Then they went outside and did a mile run. And then Coach had a timed lap run, had to make a 1:05 one lap around. He did that, and then he went to football practice.
So he should be in shape.
And never complain. And
That's
I mean, I'm like, that's how you get better, Amari.
That's
and
right.
Really proud of how he's coming along.
Right, that's great. Well, our last non-region opponent, we're going to travel down to Hamilton, Florida, and a team that I felt like all through the years, we should have been going down and swapping home and away series is Hamilton County, Florida, to Hamilton County. I believe they're the Trojans also.
Yes.
There's another set of Trojans.
Yes.
So we play plenty of Trojans and Rebels.
And they look very much like us uniform-wise.
Yes, they do.
They got black helmets, and they're black and red. And, 45 minutes away.
That's right.
Not a long ride. Like Florida, it's kind of, for me, it's plays mind games with you. Like, man, that's going to be a haul, but it really isn't.
No, it's not. Just the other side of Statenville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
where everybody's grandma used to go buy their lottery tickets a few years back when Georgia didn't have it. So,
you're telling your age.
That's right. That's right. But that's the truth. That's where fireworks and lottery tickets. That's where you went. And so, but Hamilton, Florida, we saw them up in Jeff Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I won't let you say this. I'll say this. I believe that's a game that'll be in the win column. And if you want to say that, I'm sure you feel like we'll win them all. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of weird. I'm a day-to-day, week-to-week guy.
That's right.
I love, it's took me a while to get in this coach speak. I used to be the biggest fan. Oh, yeah, we're going to win this one. We're going to lose this one. We're going to win this one.
That's right.
But you really can't focus on that as a coach. You got to focus on today.
That's
and
right.
What can we do today to make Lanier County football better?
That's right.
And we'll get up on Tuesday. What can we do today? What can we do? Study hall. How can we make film better? How can we make the weight room better? Football practice. Can we get better organization in our water breaks? And I mean, just all kind of different stuff goes into.
That's right.
The now.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's let Jeremy thank our sponsors right quick, and we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about our region schedule.
Awesome.
Farmers and Merchants Bank has been helping people with their financial needs for over 100 years. And FMB is right here in Lakeland, Georgia to serve you. Whether you need personal banking with checking and savings accounts, money market and IRAs, or business banking with checking, cash management, and loans, FMB is also your lending solution for both personal and business. Whatever your banking needs, Farmers and Merchants Bank remains committed to be the best of the best. North Carter Street in Lakeland. Go Dogs! Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Huddle House in Lakeland, Georgia is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With a clean and friendly atmosphere, you'll always get the service you're looking for. They have a variety of menu items for you to choose from, whether it's an omelet or a hamburger. And you can even order takeout, whether you sit at the bar or at a table. The staff at Huddle House is always looking out for you. Huddle House in Lakeland, open 24/7, 251 West Main Street. That's 251 West Main Street. Stop on by and eat something.
So as the Final buzzer sounds. We shoot a 3. And it bangs in. It goes in. Oh, we get a steal.
EJ going to drive, put a shot up and in.
And it does.
Bulldogs lead 100 to 48.
Gonna try a long 3. It's good.
Good.
3-point shot's good. 12-10, and Clinch County wants to talk it over.
Oh,
There's a good drive. There's a good drive. Is it going to drop? It's down. It's down in the sphere.
All right, we're back here live from the Huddle House. We're here with Coach Kurt Williams talking Lanier County Bulldog football on our first ever LC Coaches Show. We've talked about our non-region opponents. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our region. Region 2A, of course, everybody says it's like the SEC, and it's hard to argue that point, Coach.
There is no argument. I mean, it's point blank.
Coach's little girl Annalise wants to get in the video.
Well, I mean, she can come on. She might be messing with the mic, but
yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think you can argue that point at all. I mean, it's you come in on Sunday and it's like, who we got this week? It's like, man, it doesn't get. There is no slouches.
It's not an off week unless it says bye on the schedule.
and I really think the bottom of the bottom. What everybody declares the bottom of the region is going to be better this year. So I think it's going to be an all-out war every week.
You could see 6 teams in the Class A playoffs at the end of this year. That's what I feel like.
I mean, you take Atco last year. Atco put a thumping on Montgomery the week before we played them. Montgomery went to Sweet 16.
That's right.
And Atco didn't get in. And Telfair and Atco, I think, have a lot of guys coming back. And they're going to be better. That's
right. Atco's big. We saw them in the spring. They're huge.
They are big.
They're big.
Turner is bigger.
Yeah.
Seeing them last year.
Saw Turner on
Berry Network.
Berry Network the other night. They're big. Big and aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I will say this, not saying that. I mean, I felt like we competed with Berrien, and Berrien defeated Turner, so I feel like that.
Yeah, it
makes you think we can match up there.
Yeah, it's comparing apples to oranges.
That's right. I mean, it is.
It's all about matchup, and what Coach Pilcher does on offense is the great equalizer as far as, I think they held the ball 9 minutes in the second quarter and kept those athletes on the sideline, and it's just all about matchups, really.
Right. Turner still looked like they had those big receivers, but it just didn't look like the quarterback could get it to them.
Well,
he either overthrown them or underthrew them.
Yeah.
So you got to get it to them before they can do anything.
They're big up front, too. Their O-line is pretty looking. You got 2 wide receivers that I think have D1 offers that can really go.
That's right. So in our region, of course, you got defending state champions, Clinch County.
Yep.
You got the defending runner-ups, Irwin County.
Yep.
And then you got Charlton, that's always a powerhouse. You got Wilcox County that's on the rise. You got Turner County that's been steady. Of course, Telfair brings back everybody. Atco brings back everybody. Who am I missing there? Are we missing anybody?
Wilcox.
We talked about Wilcox. They're all good.
I think you got everybody.
There's not a down week.
It's a big old region.
It is. It's a big region. You got 7 region games, 3 non-region games. Been touching on a little bit as we've been going along tonight. It's kind of been the talk around for the last few months, I guess, since maybe last September. Power rankings are going away.
Yeah.
After this season, this will be the last season of power rankings. There will be, and this affects all sports, not just football.
Yeah.
There'll be a complete public school, private school split. But there will be no region. Our region has never had private schools in it, but other regions like Region 3A over in the Savannah area had 2 or 3 private schools in it. Region 4 up on the
Region 5
Alabama
is all
line.
the Macon schools, I believe.
Region 5 had pretty much all.
Yeah, Tatnall, Square, and
But all
Mount
those
DeSales and
all those private schools will go to one side, and all the publics will go to the other side. And we're hoping that our region shrinks in size, and that possibly have a 5-team region would be great.
That would be a lovely situation.
Unlikely, but that would be great.
Yeah.
If we got a 5-team region, you win what, coaches, on my math? You win 2 there.
You win 1, you're in.
Win 1 and you're in. That's right. You win 1.
If it's the right one.
If it's the right one.
I mean, there's all kinds of
You
scenarios.
could finish tied if you beat somebody.
Yeah, there could be a 3-way tie
right.
and all that, and that is, if you've never seen a mini playoff game, that's not fun.
No.
It's
So
like
you flip a coin to see who plays
flip a
each other
coin,
first.
and it is 2-minute warning. Boom.
That's right.
Overtime. Boom.
I
And
remember-
it's over like that.
Seems like Fitzgerald and a few of them done that in Region 2 AA a few years ago, and they went up to Worth County and played, and I went over and watched that. But it's unlike anything you ever seen on that. But power rankings will be gone after this year. So this full school year, 2019-2020, all sports will still be qualifying for the playoffs under the power rating system.
Mm-hmm.
Starting next school year with the football season, softball season, won't be any power rankings. Top 4 teams in each region to go to the state playoffs. So this year you could have, like we said, 6 teams from this region going to
It's all about the numbers.
the playoffs. Next year you're going to have 4, and that's going to be it, no matter how many's in it.
Yep. This region would have 2 or 3 good teams sitting at the house.
Yep.
If we were at top 4 this year,
That's right. Some of the likely scenarios, as we talked about Brooks County earlier tonight, some of the likely scenarios is Brooks County drops back down to Class A ball, and Coach Maurice Freeman and his Trojans come into Region 2A.
Yeah, and I went and watched them in Irvin Friday night. My good buddy Brandon Evans is a coach over there, and we went over there and got a chance to see Irvin, and it was a really good ball game. Brooks beat Irvin 21-20, and they got a lot of underclassmen, and Irvin's got a lot of underclassmen. And so it's looking down the road, it's going to be interesting to see where GHSA decides to put Brooks.
Where that cutoff number is. Brooks was the smallest team
in AA.
In AA, the last classification cycle. They had 521 students, and 520, I believe, was the cutoff point. I might be wrong on those numbers, but I think that was it. 520 was the cutoff, and it was at 521, and they went to AA. Of course, they compete year in and year out in AA ball, of course, in football. Now, I know they're chomping at the bit in some of these other sports to come back down to single A, but I know Coach Freeman don't mind lining it up with anybody. So.
No. Maurice does a great job, and them kids love him, and they will run through a brick wall.
That's right. Yeah, he went over to Death Valley and knocked the Cats off a few years ago. So
we actually got to play them at Macon County that year and had them on the ropes, I believe 22-18. We got the ball back with 30 seconds and got down to like the 20-yard line when time run out. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, they were scared to death. Malcolm Parrish was there, and they had a wide receiver. I can't remember his name. They called him Superman and Batman, but they were electric that year.
That's right. Of course, this has been our first LC Coaches Show. Coach, is there anything else you'd like to touch on tonight that we haven't covered? We've covered our schedule pretty much, region, non-region. We've talked about the power rankings a little bit and how this will be the last year.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about doing this coaching show this year. I think it's really good for our program. I think it's really good for all our sports and really promoting our kids. Really excited about it, and just really excited to see how we compete Friday night.
That's right.
It's a scrimmage game, but we're not looking. It's a game. We're going out trying to play as hard as we can. We're trying to win it, and so really see what guys do under the lights Friday night. We see who's gamers and who's just practice players, because there is a thing where people look really good in practice, lights come on, and they get tight and they get nervous. It's a real thing, and they don't play as well. And then you got other guys who they take it to another level.
That's right.
And that's the kind of guys we're looking for. Is when
sometimes you line up against a guy like me and you. We both got red shirts on, but you line up against a guy in a Friday night will be a black and gold, and
Yeah.
that guy might not be as easy on you.
Don't and we don't really know what we're getting Friday night. I mean, so coaching scrimmage games are hard. They really are, because you don't have tape, you don't know what they do, you don't have any tendencies. As a defensive coach, I want to get as much tape and break them down as best I can. And okay, when they get in 3rd and 5, they're going to do this.
That's right.
And you don't know.
That's right.
You don't know. So it's
It is what it is.
you got to make adjustments on the fly and try to do the best you can. But that's why we get scrimmage games, and format's going to be we're going to script the first quarter and have different situations where we'll have the ball in the open field, and then we're going to move it down into the red zone where we get red zone reps, goal line reps. Talked to the officials today, and Coach Rogers really wanted to do it too, where we get reps in certain situations where we got it on tape and experienced it in a game, getting ready for the season. And then second, won't be any special teams first quarter, and then second, third quarter we'll do it just be like a regular game.
Gotcha. So second, third quarter will be mostly your
varsity. Live special team is just like a full game kickoff. We'll kick off in the second quarter, so that'd be a little weird.
I got you.
But that way, both teams at least, like if it's somebody don't score, that way everybody gets a kickoff and everybody gets a kickoff return, and we want to see some live special teams reps before we go to Union.
That's right.
So and then fourth quarter will be junior varsity guys. That last quarter.
Gotcha. So everybody come out next Friday night to Rockmore Field and support our Bulldogs. And if you're still haven't eaten tonight, come up to the Huddle House and support the Lady Dogs. I think they're cleaning tables and clearing tables and greeting the folks as they come in. And I believe Mr. Jimmy Brown's giving them a cut of his profit tonight, which is mighty, mighty generous of him, and generous of him to give up a table and let us have this show here. And
absolutely.
He's agreed to let us do this every Monday night throughout the fall season. Going to try to do softball and football. Hopefully, Coach Brunell, he was trying to get, and everybody knows his daughter, Gracie, she's fixing to go off to college over in Brunswick, and he's trying to get her ready to get going, and he couldn't make it in this afternoon. I had to move the time back to 6:30. Of course, I wanted to go over and the equipment and watch my little girl play ball. So I said, hey, can we back it up 30 minutes? And first he said, yeah, let's do it, and then he had to do something else.
Yeah, well, it worked out for us. We had to back practice up a little bit. Had a kid get a little hot, so it took me a minute to get over here, but everybody checked out all right. And
good.
Getting ready to roll tomorrow, man. Friday we'll be here before you know it, and we're looking forward to everybody coming out and supporting us.
Good. All right. Anything you got left, Jeremy? You want to anything we need to talk about before we go? Softball game tomorrow night. Want to remind everybody, we talked about that earlier. Want to remind everybody, softball versus Charlton here at VL Moorfield tomorrow afternoon at 5:30. Lady Dogs taking on the Lady Indians, or Maidens. They're the Maidens down in Folkestone.
Get it right now.
Get it right, because they don't like it when you call them something wrong. Also, our middle school Lady Dogs will be going over to Cook County tomorrow afternoon, and they'll be taking on the Lady Hornets. I don't think they call themselves the Wasp or nothing like that. And then Thursday afternoon, middle school will be hosting Thomasville. And then Thursday afternoon, so Wednesday is Thomasville, and Thursday they'll be hosting rival Clinch County. Football middle school, they played last week. Played Cook County. It was 6-0 at halftime.
Yeah, gave up three
scores in the second half.
But I think they all was like a pick six, fumble return. So we played some good defense and just we had some guys get. I think DeMarcus Eubanks went down with a high ankle sprain, so he's going to be out a week or two. And they actually go to Rochelle Saturday morning to play in their jamboree, and they play Blakely County, and I believe they play Wilcox. I'm not sure what order, but I was talking to Coach Sheila that we are playing a lot of football this fall.
That's right.
We're playing 7 middle school games before the playoffs, and I think we got a good shot to get in the playoffs in middle school. I think we're a lot better at middle school. Playing 6 JV games, and then we got 11 games with a scrimmage guaranteed for varsity. So that's 24 games.
That's right.
If my math is correct.
It's a whole lot of sports in
A
Lanier County.
lot of sports going on. There's something going on every day, seems like.
There is. There's something every afternoon.
And, but it's great for our kids and community.
That's right. Get out and support the kids. Support your community. We appreciate all the support we always get here on the network from our sponsors. Can't thank them enough. Huddle House. I think Farmers Merchants Bank is a sponsor. Jeremy's been playing them throughout the evening. Coach, we'll be back here hopefully next week at 6 o'clock with Coach Brunell, and have you come in a little later if you can, swing that.
Yep. And then probably, I guess it'll be a little bit different next week. We'll talk about the previous game, the upcoming game. And,
That's right.
We'll have some players of the week and that kind of stuff. Trying to do my part in this thing, too, because I really like what we're doing here and promoting our program.
That's right. Anything we do to promote the kids. And if you're out there and you're listening and you say, hey, I'd like to be a sponsor of that. I'd like for my business to be on there. I'd like to support the kids, support the program. Call Mr. Jeremy Lewis, and he'll put his number up at some point. Go on there and look online. I think he may have a Facebook page, and you can find him on there and get in touch with him, and he'll be glad to set you up with that. All right, for Coach Kurt Williams, Jeremy Lewis, so long from the Huddle House.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Farmers and Merchants Bank has been helping people with their financial needs for over 100 years. And FMB is right here in Lakeland, Georgia to serve you. Whether you need personal banking with checking and savings accounts, money market and IRAs, or business banking with checking, cash management, and loans, FMB is also your lending solution for both personal and business. Whatever your banking needs, Farmers and Merchants Bank remains committed to be the best of the best. North Carter Street in Lakeland. Go Dogs! Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Huddle House in Lakeland, Georgia is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With a clean and friendly atmosphere, you'll always get the service you're looking for. They have a variety of menu items for you to choose from, whether it's an omelet or a hamburger. And you can even order takeout, whether you sit at the bar or at a table. The staff at Huddle House is always looking out for you. Huddle House in Lakeland, open 24/7, 251 West Main Street. That's 251 West Main Street. Stop on by and eat something.